Welcome to the Unshakable Growth. I'm Esti, and let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the Unshakable Growth podcast, the podcast where we dive into bold journeys of passion, resilience, and creating something extraordinary. Today's episode is extra special. I am joined by my former culinary school classmate, Yang Hao, who's now making major waves in the food scene as the director of Firewood in Penang, Malaysia. In just only 3 years, his restaurant has earned a spot on the Michelin Select list and was recently ranked 68 in the world's 101 best steak restaurant. It is bold, it is inspiring, and it is a proof that passion paired with precision can create magic. Today we are going behind the scenes to uncover what really drove him, how he turned a vision into a world-class experience, and what it takes to rise so fast in such a competitive industry. Welcome, Yang Hao. Welcome into my podcast.
Hi, I'm the head chef and the director of the Firewood Restaurant Penang.
Yep. All right. Okay, I'll just get you started with some questions. So I'm just wondering, what inspired you to start the idea behind Firewood and why steak in particular?
Okay, so basically I opened Firewoods as after the COVID periods. So I tried to make myself a restaurant as I'm a chef for past 10 years. So I decided to have my own restaurants. And why in steaks? Because I'm a person that I like steaks a lot. And in Penang, there's not much restaurant that doing really good steaks. So I think that's a correct way that the positioning is very important. So I think let's focus on steaks.
Yeah. And I do know that your background coming from working in a really famous celebrity steak restaurant. Is that also why you chose to start your career in that particular restaurant as well? If you don't mind, would you like to share a little bit on that or?
Yes, so I've been 6 to 7 years. I worked with Gordon Ramsay in Marina Bay Sands, Singapore, and it's kind of like inspired from him that he owned a lot of restaurants once. So not only the cooking skills we learn from him, it's also the management skill from him as well.
And also because of your passion and you really love steak, that's why you started your career in his restaurant.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. And I know that it's not easy to set up a restaurant. What was the biggest challenge in setting up a restaurant from scratch? Can you walk me through your journey?
Okay, so as I'm a chef, so basically food is not really the biggest challenge. So there's two things that's quite challenge to me. As first was the team. So people was the one of the biggest problem that I ever face. And next will be for startup restaurants, the renovation was the thing. So the contractor and the designer, they basically throw a lot of question to you like how many amp of the power usage you need for your restaurants, how tall you want the plug point to be. So all this thing that never entered to my brain before I start up. So I know how to cook. I'm a chef. So you tell me how tall I want to set up the plug point. It's really out of my imagination from that. So I have to call my people in Singapore, my friends. They can you measure for me? Like I want exactly the length. So how many cm was this? How many cm tall was this? And yes, it's not only a chef,
Yeah.
as it's a boss of the restaurants. You deciding every decision. So they throw a lot of questions, something funny like this, and you have to figure it out. So that was one of my biggest challenge because food was totally not, but all these small things, yes.
Yeah, I guess coming from a culinary background, we always think that the food was the most important one until you become a boss one day. And then you realize that oh, the renovation, the height of the table, the height of the plug point, those are the consideration that we've never taken into. And all these questions will be thrown to you while you are doing your renovation.
Yes.
Yeah. So for renovation, you managed to get help from your friends and colleagues from Singapore. What about hiring your team? Like you said, that is also one of the biggest challenge as well.
Yes, so there's two different kind of people. So at first I opened and everybody was new to this cuisine. So basically everybody wants here just to learn. So I have almost the third team right now. Okay. So everybody was here to learn and now I hire people that want here to perform. Other than just learning, I can let you learn, but at the same time, you have to show me how much you can do for this company.
Yeah. But in the initial stage, when the restaurant was just starting out,
Mm-hmm.
how can you make sure that you hire the right talent?
So basically, you will never know. So just get them in, go through the interview, get them in, and see how they work. Just make sure everybody follow the recipes, follow the SOP, make sure everything turn come out well.
Yeah. And that kind of turns out well for you.
For the opening team, yes,
Yeah. That's really great to hear because not every restaurant is that lucky to have a really strong opening team.
true.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the next question. How did you choose the location and the concept? And how do you know that it would stand out from Penang's food scene? We know that Penang is like one of the having the best food in Malaysia. So it's not easy to fight into that competitive industry.
Yes, correct. So to me, the location wise for Penang, because I used to study at college in Penang, I was from Taipei, but between Kuala Lumpur and Penang, I know Penang better. So to me, a lot of visitor, tourists, and local are all crowded in Georgetown. So I never think of the other place. Georgetown was the only place that I'm looking for the shop lots. So before current place, we almost look for 15 shop lots before we proceed to this one. So the moment when I see on this is crowd, is big enough, the venue. So the moment when I step into the current shop lot, I was like, okay, this will be the one. So to me, feeling is very important. The moment when I step in, I was like, okay, this will be the one, and we proceed straight to this current shop lots. When you tell me how about stand out of Penang food scene, I never really think of this. So what I in my mind was I just focusing what I need to do, and I do it correctly. I just continue and start slowly with some marketing, trying to push out until today. People say that oh, not only char kway teow in Penang, Penang is good for steak as well. I'm really proud to hear this when people say oh, now we come to Penang, we'll look for steak. So it's not only in my restaurant, for everybody as well as we are trying to push Penang out other than just hawker food.
Yeah, and that's really good to hear because we know that Kuala Lumpur is our capital city, and then Penang is like the second tier city in Malaysia. And then for you, you said that you were familiar with Penang more than Kuala Lumpur. That's why you chose Penang. But
Mm-hmm.
we never thought that Penang can actually do such a I would say high end restaurant as compared to what we have in Kuala Lumpur. All right. So now the next one. What was your personal mission when you opened Firewood?
Okay, so the personal missions, I would say I actually aiming to bring the name of Firewood to the worldwide. Okay, meaning that not only like getting award on the world, but planning to extend and bring the Malaysia brand Firewood go to overseas.
Yeah. Did you already set this target before you opened the restaurant or it just came along the way?
It just came along the way. So I never think so big the moment when I opened Firewood. So first thing was they have to get back the RI first for the first restaurant before you think. So after the RI back, then we start doing some small planning, even if expanding in Malaysia or expanding in overseas. So we decide to have both. So but at the end of the mission was bringing the brand Firewood going overseas.
That's the end goal that you are seeing when you started this journey.
Mm, yes, correct. So we're planning that we grow deep before we grow big.
That's really good to hear. And also, I guess it was also a similar timing when Michelin actually came into Malaysia as well. Because prior to that, Michelin wasn't even in Malaysia, right?
Yes, so the moment when we opened was the first year on 2022. That was the first year of the Michelin.
Right, and that was the year that you opened the restaurant.
Yes, correct.
Ah, that's good. That's good. Sometimes it's really good to have that, correct timing to open the restaurant.
Yes.
And do you ever doubt yourself during the journey? And yeah, I'll let you answer this first. Do you ever doubt yourself during the journey?
No.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just focusing in what I'm doing. So to me, I I have my head chef when I used to work in Singapore. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so she tell me one thing is there's always solution when there's a problem come up, and there's always more solution than the problem.
Right. We just need to think from different angles and different way
Yes,
to
yes,
tackle the problem. And so you always keep that in mind, and this advice actually accompany you through that journey.
yes. But sometimes things happen, so you have to be positive.
Be positive. Okay. Um, can you share a little bit on that? Like, can you share maybe an example of what kind of situation that you face that you need to be like really positive and trust the process?
So, as a restaurant owner, basically every day there is something happen around.
Mm,
So, for example, like last week,
mm,
a my manager called me out and say, "Hey, the TMB meter was burning."
mm-hmm. What is a DMB
So
meter?
burning means the TMB meter was on fire. The
Oh,
meter was on fire while it's a full house inside on a Saturday night.
oh my God.
So what you can do is just take a deep breath. Okay, first thing, the worst gonna be a power trip.
Mm-hmm.
Aircon will be off.
Yeah.
So make sure we get all the ice on the table for the customer, get some drinks for them first.
Mm,
Then we call the TMB people, the electricians, and ask them if they can come over now to fix it. And it was a Labor Day. It was a Labor Day.
yeah.
And glad that somebody is nearby
Uh-huh.
and they come over and save us. So was all the aircon was off for more than half an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and after that was fixed. So after I become the restaurant's owner of
Mm-hmm.
Firewood, everything in my mind when something happen, I will only think of solution. There's no time for you to think of, oh, what to do. Oh my God. Oh, this shouldn't happen to me. No, no such thing. So
Yeah.
something happened, think of the solution.
Yeah.
Something happened, get the solution.
Yeah.
So
Solution first.
there's no time for me to worry already. That's not the worry part. The worry shouldn't come up. Every day
Mm-hmm.
there's something happen and the toilet something will burst. When you go to the corridor, they say, oh, something smoke come out,
Mm.
or maybe the aircon was leaking to the table. So basically all these small things happen every day.
Yeah.
So you really have to be positive or else I won't say or else it will be horrible. If you are not kind of a person that positive enough,
Mm.
you will get tired or you will get pissed off of all these problems.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess after so many years being your former schoolmate, and until now I can see that you have grown a lot and have a really critical thinking of tackling the solutions. So now I'll move on to the next question. How would you describe the dining experience you have created at Firewood? Because I have visited once when I went back to Malaysia. I know that it's an open kitchen, and is there any like specific reason why it's an open kitchen?
So right now, the moment you step in, you will basically see a open kitchen restaurants. As you can see the flame around. So we are a kids friendly restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
So basically it's family gatherings, friends gathering, colleagues gathering. So you are here with a comfortable shoes, shirts, with a nice dinner.
Mm.
So everybody was here for steaks, and we will definitely show you the steak selection, introduce, and make sure everybody getting the steaks that's to all their own preference.
Yeah.
So
And
the overall dining experience will be kind of relaxed.
yeah. And I think I really like the experience that you have created because I've visited previously when I went back. The wait staff, they actually show you the real steak. They bring you the real meat to
Yes.
show you at your table to choose for your steak selection. So from there you can actually see the marbling instead of just reading the name out of the menu like a rib eye or a strip loin, like what's that? But for people that is maybe not so familiar with steak, by looking at the meat cuts and the marbling, you can actually like be more understanding of what you're actually ordering. Yeah, I
That's
guess.
correct.
Yeah, I guess that's one of different kind of experience because I've been to a few steak restaurant here in Sydney as well. I don't think they have such an experience, and I think that was eye-opening for me.
Okay, cool to know that.
And how do you build and lead a team that shares your vision and standard for excellence? As you mentioned now, this is your third team for the restaurant. How do you build that vision and make sure that they follow the standards?
So basically, we have the target of year every year. Every year, I put on the target. I put it on the wall straight. So, example, this year I setting for four. One was the Michelin's, the Taylor Dining, the Malaysia Book of Records, and also the Google review. How much I want to get. What's
Oh,
our vision mission for this year? What our target for this year? So basically, we'll go through with everybody that working here. So a KPI will set for everybody, like what you need to do for this month, how many Google review you need to get this month. So who are planning for this award? How are we gonna achieve this award? What are their qualification? We're gonna go deep in it and we're gonna do it out, make it out, invite the people come over. So all this was planning by the KPI for everybody. So if you hit the targets, you hit the KPI, you get something, you get a awards or rewards. Sorry.
yeah. And I guess it's really important for a company whatever KPI that gets measured will actually get achieved. Because once you constantly track on those performance, you will know what you are lacking and what you need to do to get nearer to that goal. And so you mentioned that you actually like get your team to look into further for those awards, like for example, Malaysia Book of Record and perhaps like Michelin star and the world best steak restaurant. Do you also look into the criteria to get those awards?
So for the World 101 Best Steak Restaurants, to be honest, it's not in my to do list by this year because to me it's quite far. Okay, we are in Malaysia and Malaysia we've never been in the list, and they don't even have a panelist or a editor was staying in Malaysia. The nearest was in Singapore, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So it's not in my list because it's the world best. I think we are on the way, but I'm not sure if we can go it like slip it in or how it goes. So when the moment we get it was really shock. This was really a shock news that Malaysia Penang was in the list.
And you are like one of the first Malaysia restaurant to be on the list.
Yes, correct. We are the first restaurant that in the World All 101, the best steak restaurants. So in the list was from Hong Kong, from UK, and a lot from Australia, London, Sydney. It's all over the world, and Malaysia is in the list. So to me, I really proud of myself and my team that actually make this in because, of course, the panelists was here. They are trying out the food and service at least twice
Yeah.
before this thing come out. So it's really shocked that we are get listed, and we are really happy for that.
And do you know when they visit your restaurant to try your food? Are you aware or was it a
Then
total surprise?
no, no. So it's the same like Michelin.
Yeah.
So you will never know that how many packs they are here or when they are here, or even though a lot of people ask, "Oh, is this a paid award?"
Yeah.
No, it's the same like a Michelin's. if it's a paid award, I will never be proud. You don't have to be proud because it's a paid award, but this is totally not.
Yeah, and it's really being tried by those food panelists, and they not only come once but at least twice to make sure that the food are actually up to those standards of Michelin and also world's 101 best steak restaurant.
Yes.
And I think this question I have slightly touched on previously. Do you actively aim for awards, or do they come as a result of staying true to your craft? Or do you think it's a mix of both?
I would say I'm actively aiming for an award, but it's after the first award that we're getting. So before this was not, I'm not aiming for anything. But after that, I'm aiming because it do make my sales quite consistent after award by award. So recently, I would say the market was quite slow, but we are quite kind of consistent. So I'm glad of this, and I believe it's because of the award that bring more visitors, bring more tourists, not into Penang only, but in Malaysia.
Yeah, and that's really very proud of you because when I saw your post on social media, I was really impressed as well because one of the steak restaurant here in Sydney that I really like was only ranked 99, and then yours is ranked 68. So I'm really proud of you and what your team has achieved in such a short amount of time within 3 years. I think it's a really amazing achievement. And so once you get your recognition and those awards, do you have a different way of how you view your work or how you operate your business?
I I would say a lot of my staff, because I bring them out to celebrate after we get that award. We
Yeah.
went to a buffet lunch, and they always ask me, so what are we gonna do next? So I would say, basically, we are just doing the daily tasks that we do. Just go like normal, make everything perfect, make all the customer happy. Just doing what you need to do. Just maintain what we're doing right now, because I think we are doing it correctly and we are doing it good. So just maintain and just continue the way we are.
Yeah. And I really like one thing that I saw it somewhere like consistency is key. Once you do the right thing consistently, the reward will eventually come. And just now you also briefly touched on that you might look into like expanding the company either to different parts of Malaysia or even like overseas. So now you have seen such a massive growth within Firewood in just 3 years. What is that actual next step for the restaurant?
So basically, I've been sharing this in the social media for almost 6 months ago that we are planning to have a second outlet in Penang. But uh, like what I said just now, the feeling to the right to the shop lots was not there. We've
Yeah.
been going through almost 9 months now. Yeah, nothing a perfect shop lot come out that what we want. So we are planning expanding in KL. So 2 weeks ago, we are start looking at the shop lot in Kuala Lumpur, and we are still figuring out which location because Kuala Lumpur was kind of big.
Yeah.
We have Bangsa, we have PJ, we have even the KL town area, or we have Damansara. So we are getting a few people looking for us, like which are the best place, and if it's really cool, we might really get it down and open by this year.
Wow. In this year will be ending in like 6, 7 months. So
Yes,
you'll
correct.
be doing it at a full speed.
Yes, because to us, like you get the shop lot done. Once the shop lot done, the renovation take 3 months. After 3 months, that's the opening already. So, and if you like a second Firewood in Kuala Lumpur, it shouldn't be hard because it's more to a copy and paste.
Yeah.
So it's a second outlet will be easier than the first one.
Yeah, and that's right because now you have your established team already. You can always transfer people over to do cross training and things like that to build up the second team, right? Yeah. All right, last question for you.
Yes.
What kind of advice would you give young chefs or entrepreneurs dreaming of creating something world class?
Mm, I would say try to learn everything that you can learn surrounding of yourself. So not only like cooking, you might can observe something from the front of house as well.
Yeah.
So every person there must be something that you can learn from them. Even a dishwasher, you can have something to learn from them, how to operate that thing, how can they maintain themselves. So not only focusing on your own current situation, your own section, but you may be more observing of the others as well. So you can do see what the manager doing daily, what the bartender do. So one day, if you want to have your own restaurants, you might need to know how to do a coffee art, how you're gonna do a bartender, what if the bartender not around. So focusing on your thing and try to look up to the other people as well.
Yeah, and learn as much as you can while you can.
Yes.
All right. So, Young House Journey is a true reminder that with passion, clarity, and also relentless inner drive, you can turn bold ideas into global recognition. From culinary school classmate to seeing him now leading one of the world's top steak restaurant, I couldn't be proud enough. So if you are listening and dreaming of starting something of your own, let this be your sign and go for it. Thank you, Yang Hao, for sharing your story so openly with us. I will also put in Firewood's Instagram account and also Facebook account in my description below so that you guys can follow Firewood and Yang Hao's journey in expanding his second outlet. And lastly, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, share it with a friend who loves food and ambition, and leave us a review. Until next time, keep growing, keep pushing, and stay unshakable. Thank you, Yang Hao.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in the Unshakable Growth. Stay unshakable, and I'll catch you in the next episode.